Hello and welcome to the NHL Best Bets. Yesterday we had two good picks. Let's go those through first. Winnipeg played in Saddle Dome, Calgary. The game was not very even. Winnipeg won 5-1, so pretty much as predicted. Home team curse continued in Calgary, and Winnipeg seems to be now a notch better team than Flames. Then other game, Kings Vegas was under. It was a 5 goals, but last minute was a bit a nail biter as both teams decided to stop all the defensive activity, and they were just doing some kind of shutout competition there. That hey, which goalie can take these shots by more circus-like way. But the end result was good for us, and green again with these two picks. Tommy, what's your take from the last night round?
Very happy with the picks, of course, because it is exactly as we predicted. In Calgary, Winnipeg was a lot better team. The score 1-5 reflects pretty well the game. Calgary has all kinds of trouble now offensively, even if they are trying to play through the defense. That doesn't now work for them at all. So their production is cut completely. So this is a problem for the Flames at the moment. And Winnipeg managed to score from most of their scoring chances. Very comfortable throughout the game. So no issues there. Great value for Winnipeg. Like we've been saying, they are somehow underrated almost all the time. So it's a very good bet been for us this season. And like you said, in Vegas, I think we do owe the goaltenders maybe a cup of coffee if we ever get to go there because of the last period antics of the teams. It seemed that in two first periods, the goaltenders didn't need to do a lot, but then in the third one, they did save us the under. But otherwise, it was a very under-like game, both teams shooting about 25 times. So this is usually less than 5 goals, less than 6 goals. Game. So it was a good pick, and luckily the third period only saw 1 goal. Could have been easily a lot more, but nice green line for us tonight.
Then there were a few other games that we discussed yesterday. Edmonton played in Toronto. This time they pulled the victory, and there were some value in our simulations, and also Philadelphia finally won now against Buffalo that didn't won, and that's one point that maybe we can play some kind of competition. That what is the exact date when Buffalo will win next time?
Yeah, I think there is a counter somewhere in Buffalo at the moment. I think it was 19th loss or something in a row now for that team. That was a game that they should have won definitely. They led 3-0. It was all in their hands until the third period, and then absolute collapse. There was an interview, I think, was Brandon Montour after the game, Buffalo defenseman, who was just baffled of how is it even possible to lose these sort of games. But it is a snowballing kind of thing when you don't have any confidence. Even if you lead the game, you manage still to lose it. So pretty bad situation in Buffalo. Good pick from us, of course, taking Philadelphia, even with their struggles. So a good side value there. But yeah, let's hope that Buffalo get their act together. It's not nice to see any team struggling like this. And then the other game, Edmonton, that you mentioned, did play better than last time against Toronto and managed to win in overtime. Now it looks like Edmonton has found this way of playing more defense, being a little bit more patient as well, not going all out attack like they have earlier. So this spells good things for the Edmonton team, that they are able to not only win the games by scoring 6 or 7 goals, but also with these a little bit more defensive grinding games.
Any other games that you want to highlight from the last night, and how about our simulations, how they performed?
It's good to highlight these games that we got correct. So Pittsburgh Penguins managed to beat New York Islanders second time in a row. A bit surprising there. Good value for Penguins. We had about 60% in a 50-50 coin flip game. Pittsburgh played really well defensively, managed to shut out the New York Islanders for the most of the game. Very surprising in that way because I was thinking that New York Islanders is a team that, especially in back-to-backs or the second games in these series, would do better. But Penguins show that they are probably still contenders, should be considered as one, even if we've been playing them down a little bit during the season. So never count out these old favorites at this point of the season when the spring starts to come and the playoff contest is on. And then Colorado, of course, with these massive odds we mentioned yesterday, not massive odds, but massive probability was more than 80% of the simulations for Colorado. They won 5-2 against a pretty lousy Anaheim team. It was quite even at first, but then Colorado punched in a couple of more gears and it was gone. So very good performance from Colorado. Very even in all kinds of ways. They goaltending, defense, and offense played a great game. So not much to go for Anaheim Ducks there.
And what kind of overall numbers we got from the simulations? I assume green, like it has been this season.
Yeah, definitely green in all categories last night. We were inside value plus 222, in money line plus 118, and in the over-unders we were 3 correct out of 5 games, so some plus, but I haven't counted the odds yet. But a very good result there as well. So going good, and also we are approaching our line of starting point, so we are zeroing in on the even number.
Yeah, let's see when that date comes. Is it before Buffalo wins or is it somewhere later? But we can only make money if we make picks, and we start go through tonight the games here. Edmonton plays back-to-back game in their tour in the East. This time they face Montreal. Montreal has been out of the business for 10 days or 9 days. They've had some COVID issues there. So Edmonton is quite hot team, not maybe as hot as Washington, that is our other pick, but at least reasonably hot. And this season, those teams that have returned from the long break haven't performed extremely well. So this kind of plus 125 odds for the better team against the team that is coming from 9 days break is very good value. And then red hot Washington, they have won 10 out of last 11 games. The only loss is to Rangers, so they are making sure that this is not happening again. Rangers have also improved their game, but again here a bit similarly that Washington is a notch better team. They get plus 102 odds on the road, and expectation is that they have similar offensive performance like they had on Sunday in this game, and they also play throughout the third period and not stop playing like it was the case in last time when these two met at Sunday.
Yeah, great value in both of these picks. Again, of course, as we always do pick. Montreal out for a long time. Not entirely sure how the COVID will affect the team. What's the situation there? Edmonton comes out from Toronto, played really well last night. Good victory in overtime. Of course, maybe a little bit tired, but in this season, I do think that they have prepared for this and they know what's coming. So it's a good situation for Oilers. Of course, I do believe that Montreal will come out the gates crashing, but it hasn't worked for them so far. The first time these two met in Montreal was 0-3 to Edmonton. I do think that Edmonton is able to repeat that kind of a performance tonight. And the simulations do have Edmonton winning 53.3%, while the odds are, like you saw, plus 125. So excellent value there for a home for a road underdog in this case. Let's see who is playing in goal for Edmonton. It was Mike Smith playing last night. I did think that they would play Mikko Koskinen and then Mike Smith tonight, but probably Koskinen will start tonight, which is a good thing as long as these older guys, bigger guys don't need to play back-to-backs and play all the time. They are decent goaltenders for this Edmonton team, so need to be managed, but they are able to do so. And then the other game, like you mentioned, Washington, a better team than New York Rangers. Last time they did let their foot off the gas for the third period, which is very normal for these, let's say, veteran teams that are used to winning games in the regular season, especially. Don't always need to put your full effort to get the point. So this was a bit too close maybe for the team. So I think the coaching staff will make sure that Capitals will play until the end, because it is still everything open in this Eastern Division that is so tight that you cannot allow your fellow divisional rivals get any points. So I do think Washington will take another victory, maybe a little bit more defensive effort this time on the road. But a better team, great odds again. In simulations, we have Washington winning 55%, while the odds indicate somewhere around 49%. So we do have Washington quite clear favorites, while the odds have them underdogs.
And so far, this matchup between Washington and New York Rangers is 3-2 for New York. So Washington is definitely looking to equalize it. And like I said, Washington has won 10 out of last 11. New York has also played a bit better during the last, I think, 10 games. They won 5, lost 5, but that's when we compare to the early season when they were losing most of the games. So improvement there, but hopefully not enough for tonight's game.
Yeah, New York's gotten better when they got back Jakub Trouba, they got back Artemi Panarin, and a little bit more let's say balance in their squad, that they don't need to play the best players in the same line, and also having some defensive leaders in the team is good. They played with really young core early on and didn't manage to win a lot of games. So it is a better team now than it was in the start of the season, but still no match to Washington Capitals, one of the favorites to win the Stanley Cup again. Of course, very tough Eastern Division, like I mentioned, that you don't get anything for free in this division.
Any other games that you want to highlight from the winner or value for the winner point of view tonight? There are some of these big favorites, but do they have any value? Like, for example, Florida hosts Detroit, that is has won 2 games, but against Columbus, that is not any kind of benchmark for a good team.
Yeah, we have those Florida teams in the Central Division that are the heavy favorites. So Florida against Detroit, 73% for Florida. The odds are minus 233, so there is value, but again, pretty lousy odds for a favorite. A lot better team, Detroit, even if they won Columbus, didn't show a lot of good ice hockey. So I do think Florida is as the odds indicate, a clear favorite here. And similar thing in Tampa Bay, where Columbus goes to visit Tampa Bay Lightning, 76% winning by the simulations, and the odds minus 257. So there is value for these heavy home favorites, but the odds are not very attractive. Maybe if you put them 2 together, but there is a massive risk always when you do that.
And those total bets have been performed very well. Do we have any good values there, or is it more risky during the week to have unders, as teams have maybe putting more effort to their play in overall, and maybe providing some additional scoring there as well?
Yeah, it's interesting take. Now it seems that in the simulations, a lot of the games are much more closer to 50-50 in the total, so not a lot of clear under or overs. One to mention is Boston, New Jersey. In Boston, last time New Jersey won 0-1, so very defensive battle. Those games, both of the teams had been pretty bad, so they probably went into this game thinking that, okay, we're not gonna allow the other team any chances. We're gonna go in the defensive. That way, New Jersey managed to take the win. Boston struggling a little bit in scoring at the moment, so there could be something going on for the under, but always a risky pick because the last game was so tight. Maybe they are exploding now and getting their chances to score a lot more. So I would stay away from that, but we do have them 59% going under 5.5 goals, so there is some value there. And the other one under is the Montreal Edmonton game that we picked Edmonton to win. There is 60% chance of going under. I do think it's going to be a close game, similar to last night's Toronto Edmonton, which was 2-3 after the overtime.
Yeah, I think in Edmonton, Montreal, the line is 6.5, so there's a bit more room to go under. But for those back-to-back games and bouncing back from the low-scoring results, you don't remember in World Championship games when the final was two-faced, and I think it was 98 when Sweden and Finland were playing there. First game was 1-0 for Sweden, second was 0-0, so one goal in two World Championship finals maybe can be repeated here in NHL as well.
That is possible. You're absolutely correct, but let me remind you that the game is a little bit different than from 98. So I do think these guys know how to score a lot better than back in the day.
Yeah, and maybe goalies are not so great today as it was that time.
True.
How about this Central Division matchup between Carolina and Chicago? Carolina was predicted before the season to be better team, but Chicago has played and overachieved based on the predictions. Now they're facing Chicago, and our boy Kevin Lankinen is predicted to be in goal. So do you think there's value for home team, or is Carolina just so much better than Chicago, so they will take a road victory?
I think Chicago has been a little bit in the downward, not downward spiral, but trending down a little bit. Their game hasn't been as good as it was when they were winning games. So they do have a chance. Of course, the simulations show them 42.6%, which is valuable compared to the odds, which are plus 144. But I do think that Carolina has a chance to play a little bit better, and they are capable of beating this Chicago team. So I would be very careful in picking the home team here. Of course, in history and during this season, we've been picking Chicago extremely well, made quite a good profit, while Carolina has been absolutely horrible for us. We are inside value about 1,000 minus in their games, no matter how it ends, but we have been predicting them wrong. So something going on there. We have to dig deeper into Carolina, what's going on.
Let's stay away of that game with our bets, but we'll follow closely these games in any case and place at least two good bets for Edmonton and Washington tonight.
Yeah, let's play it safe.